This is the LG G4. It sports a sweet camera, slightly curved new design, and an awesome 2K display. Starting things off with pricing and availability, the G4 will cost you $199 with a 2-year contract for a 32GB device, which is the same as just about every other high-end phone on the market, like the Galaxy S6 and iPhone 6, and it's also available from all of the 4 major US carriers. And as far as color options go, the G4 can be bought with a leather or plastic back. Plastic color options include ceramic white, titanium gray like the one here, and also gold. The leather options vary from a dark maroon to a nice tan. And as soon as the links to the backs go live, I'll be sure to link you all to them in the description. Now getting into the unboxing, the G4 can be found on top, and underneath is the 3000 mAh removable battery, which does support Qualcomm Quick Charge 2.0. However, the charging port and cable on the other hand is only 1.8 amps, compared to the standard 2.1 found with the Galaxy S6, but it still is plenty fast for charging. The first thing I noticed upon picking up the G4 was that physically it just doesn't feel like a $700 phone. Its plastic back and metallic shiny edges are okay, but they aren't really what I was expecting. For me, a case is absolutely necessary with this device because it's incredibly slippery, and at least for me, a drop waiting to happen. However, the build of the device isn't all negative. I'm a huge fan of the rear-facing buttons, as LG has certainly made some improvements here. They're much more tactile, responsive, and easier to touch. But even though the buttons are improved, the speaker still isn't. It's moderately loud and inconveniently placed on the back, which is an ideal place to be covered up. Now moving over to the front of the G4, we have that beautiful 5.5-inch Quad HD 2560 by 1440 display that looks pretty awesome. Stacked up next to 1080p displays like the Moto X or HTC One M8, I wasn't able to notice a huge difference when scrolling through app drawers and whatnot, but once I pulled up some 4K video on YouTube, the difference honestly was incredible. Now of course the camera I'm using here doesn't do the device justice, but anyone coming from a 1080p display will be very impressed. The only thing I wish LG would have changed with the display is the bezels. I feel like they definitely could have given us a little bit more screen real estate and in the process made the phone look a little bit sharper, but it's not too big of a deal. Performance wise, the G4 performs right up there with the M9 and GS6 as it packs a Snapdragon 808 hexa-core processor, clocking in at 1.8 GHz. That combined with its 3GB of RAM makes multitasking through dozens of apps at a time a breeze. And unlike most other devices I've tested, there's been very few hiccups or stutters. And when it comes to gaming, it's safe to say the G4 powers through just about everything I've thrown at it, but if anyone wants a more in-depth video going over benchmarks and how the G4 truly stacks up to the Galaxy S6, iPhone 6, or S6 Edge, be sure to let me know by leaving a comment down below. The software is in an area that relies mostly on personal preference, so don't take too much of what I'm about to say as fact. I feel that LG almost always seems to try too hard in its software. For example, to me, the icons and wallpapers don't seem to go well at all with the look Google's moving towards. When compared to stock Android on the Nexus 5, I do cringe a bit at how LG has butchered the whole layout. For example, the box icons just don't look good next to the stock Google icons like the Play Store, or any others like Reddit or SoundCloud. While this probably won't bother most, it does kind of annoy me. However, the great thing about Android is that software can be completely customized by the user, so if anyone does end up purchasing the G4, be sure to check out my video that goes over improving the visual looks of the software and essentially making it a Nexus device. Anyway, there are still some things that LG added that are pretty cool. For example, Smart Actions automatically turns on Wi-Fi as soon as I get home, and it also toggles it off when I leave home. Another awesome feature is Smart Cleaning, which is a great app for people that don't know how or just don't have the time to go through and unclutter their device of unwanted files. Smart Cleaning can be set up to remind you to clean your device up every week, month, or even not at all, so that's pretty sweet. Moving on to the battery life, like I mentioned earlier, the G4 has a 3000 mAh battery, but this time around the latest G device is much more energy efficient. Considering it packs a 5.5-inch 2K display, I've been very impressed with the battery life. A typical example of battery life would be today I unlocked my phone at about 5:30 in the morning at 100%. It's now 8 o'clock and I have 20% left with 3 hours and 13 minutes of on-screen time. And throughout this day, the majority of the screen on time was spent watching video, and I also streamed a lot of music while the device was locked. So it's definitely safe to say battery life shouldn't be an issue for the vast majority of people, but hey, even if it is, you can still purchase a couple extra replacement batteries, which is something you can't do with a lot of other phones. As far as the camera goes, the G4 really takes some great shots. And I'm not a camera pro, but I can definitely say the G4 is much better than my old Moto X and just barely edges out the Samsung Galaxy S6. Its pictures are extremely sharp and not too saturated or overexposed like those on the S6. Now on the other side of the device is the front-facing camera, which is something I don't ever really use, but it's still nice to see LG being innovative. Gesture shutter allows the user to hold up a fist, which triggers a timer to take a selfie, and you can also take 4 selfies in a row by opening and closing your fist twice in a row. And while I probably won't ever really use this feature, it's still something worth mentioning. So for only $199, the LG G4 is one of the best devices on the market. It has fantastic battery life, a stellar camera, and killer specs. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this unboxing and review. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.